Hey, what's up YouTube? What's going on? Back here with another video today. And in today's new video, what we're going to be talking about is why it's not the best idea to static stretch your hamstrings for someone that lives in an anterior pelvic tilt. So for those of you guys that don't know what an anterior pelvic tilt is, this is a common postural position that many people tend to adapt based on their lifestyle or activities that they engage in on a daily basis. And so what the anterior pelvic tilt involves is a person's pelvis tips forward and their butt sticks out posteriorly. And so they assume this position of lumbar extension, and this is how they tend to move around on a daily basis. And so the reason why this may develop is just as a result of someone's lifestyle and activities that they engage in. So typically you may see people who sit at a computer desk on a daily basis for a prolonged period of time. They tend to maybe sit in this position just because their hip flexors may become very short and tight. Or you may see this in hockey players, where a lot of hockey players tend to have very tight hip flexors and their butt tends to stick out as well, just because of the motion of consistently skating and also sitting while maybe on the bench, or maybe when they're tying their skates or just getting prepared before a hockey game. Point being though is that when you're in an anterior pelvic tilt, the pelvis is tilted forward, and what ends up happening is that this stretches the hamstrings out, it extends them out. So what a lot of people will tend to do is, because their hamstrings are tight as a result of them being stretched out already, they will perform static stretches such as a traditional hamstring stretch to try to alleviate or reduce that tightness or stiffness that they experience. However, the thing is though is that because one has tightness, specifically in the case of an anterior pelvic tilt in the hamstrings, static stretching is not always the answer for someone that has stiffness or tightness. And the reason being is because tightness or stiffness can develop as a result of a many number of factors, whether that's maybe an injury or a structural issue or a structural kind of problem that we may see in the anterior pelvic tilt. So because the pelvis is tilted forward, the hamstrings become stretched out fully. So further stretching them in a static stretch is not going to do anything to alleviate that tightness or stiffness in the long run. And it actually could possibly even make things worse. But one way to actually address this now, if we're looking to reduce that stiffness or tightness that one experiences in their hamstrings as a result of an anterior pelvic tilt, is to strengthen the abdominals, the anterior core, and the glutes as well, which is two areas that people tend to lack or be underdeveloped in the case of an anterior pelvic tilt. So we may prescribe, or we may do front planks or any sort of kind of rollouts for an individual. So this is one, just a standard plank is a way to target the anterior core. Another way we could do is maybe ab rollouts on a TRX, or if we're looking to target the glutes, just your standard glute bridge. We'll get the glutes going, get them activated. And that's one way we can start to address that anterior pelvic tilt and help bring us back into a more neutral posture position and alleviate that tightness that we may be experiencing from our hamstrings. So that's just one tip I wanted to share with you guys and provide with you guys, because when it comes to static stretching, specifically in the case of an anterior pelvic tilt, for someone with tight hamstrings, that's not exactly the solution for someone to address that tightness. Rather, to reduce that tightness, we have to address the structural issue in an anterior pelvic tilt. Now, when it comes to tight muscles or whatnot, the solution is going to be different for everybody. And that's another important thing to consider as well, because static stretching isn't always the solution for someone that has tight muscles. Rather, it could be someone has an injury, maybe they have a pinched nerve or something that is causing them to be tight. So we can do all the stretching we want, but if we don't address the issue of someone with maybe that pinched nerve and alleviate that pain or address that injury, then that stiffness is just going to continue to be there. Same thing that we can see with the pelvic tilt, like I just mentioned, we have a structural issue that exists, and that's why the muscles are really tight. So we'd have to address that structural issue as opposed to maybe just stretching the hamstrings because they're tight. Because static stretching isn't always a solution. Well, sometimes it is a solution, it's not always a solution. I just wanted to kind of hit that point home for you guys, because I feel like that's something people don't understand or know about. And whenever they have stiffness or tightness, they tend to just refer to static stretching when that's not always the solution. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tip. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment below. And until next time, guys, I wish you guys all the best and a successful and productive day, and take care.